T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello guys and dolls, welcome back to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. I am joined by the illustrious Mike, and I am joined by one of the most beautiful printers we've ever had in. So This is the Magforms P13. This is a printer that we first saw at Formnext in Germany. Hi, Dels Logos. Hi, Andrew. We saw it in Germany in Formnext. We walked past it. We were like, that one. Unfortunately, the rep who was there at the time only spoke German and Mandarin, which we speak neither of. And the English-speaking.
Well, my Mandarin's better than my German.
True. Yeah. So the other rep who was there was actually a third-party rep, so we couldn't really have a chat with him. So anyway, this machine,
was for us when we were there. This was the standout-looking machine.
Yeah. It was a toss-up between this. Look at that. It was a toss-up between this and the really beautiful Delta printer that was from who had the really pretty Delta?
Yeah.
It had the induction hot end on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was also stunning.
Someone go and watch a video and tell us what it's called.
This was one that we were just mad about. I have been borderline harassing them for the last 8 months. So they gave us a business card. Pardon?
Since November.
Since November, yeah. So 8 months. 8 months near enough. They gave us a business card. I think the representative massively regrets giving me that business card because I've been messaging them every week for the last 9 months. And yeah, it's just like I've been going after this machine really hard, but it's here. So
and we're the first people as well.
Pardon?
We're the first people.
We are, yeah. So the P13 isn't a brand new machine. They have just done a hardware refresh on it, but ultimately now the machine is here, and we're able to play about with it. So let's just go through the specs really quickly. So the build volume is 277 by 156 by 380 on the Z. It has a 25 ohm or 25.5 ohm pixel size. It's a 6K screen, and I believe it is a 12.3 inch screen. I believe it's a 12.3 inch screen, something around there. It's a really, really nice machine. Let me just go down to here we go. So yeah, it's a 6K screen on here. Layer thickness will go from 25 up to 150 ohms, so 0.001 all the way up to that's 0.001 of an inch. Right, okay. Pixel size, yeah.
Plasmix,
that was it. Yes, Plasmix.
I've just had to go on and look for that video.
So it is a normal MSLA screen, and we'll print with normal MSLA resin. We have got some of the resin that Magforms sell as well. So they sell some specialist stuff. They sell some high detail stuff. They sell some sort of regular draft resin, I suppose. They've got some elastics. Resin. They've got some super clears, some ABS, and something else that I can't remember. But anyway, they do a bunch of different resins.
Detail resin.
Pardon?
Detail resin.
Yeah, there's a
detail resin. Then they've got fine details, and then they've got super detailed.
Yeah. So detail. The printer itself. So this is not aluminium. This is steel. You can tell it's steel because my magnets stick to it. So it's not an aluminium body,
which is
it's
why
all
it's
steel.
58 kilos.
58 kilos. So 107 kilos shipped because it came in an absolutely massive crate on a pallet with the resin on top. We have got
The
a
whole
video.
thing was about 5 foot tall.
Yeah. It was big. So we managed to manhandle it into the garage, and then yeah, we did an unboxing video. That unboxing video is already live on the channel, so feel free and go and check that out. All it is the unboxing, so you can just see how it was shipped and know
because there was no way we could do it on a live stream.
Pardon?
There was no way we could do it on a live stream.
No. There was no way you were getting that on a live stream. There just was no way. So this does have filtration. It does have a heated build chamber. I don't think it has a heated vat. Should have my Galaxy One soon. Yeah, so the Galaxy One is about the same sort of size box as this is, except this is tall and the Galaxy One is slightly wider. So the machine itself, the dimensions are 500 by 420 by 769. So it's massive, and that's without the lid open. So something to bear in mind with this printer is that it has a very, very nice glass lid that goes down over the front. What that means is that this lid is very heavy, but this lid also goes all the way up, which means that with the lid open...
On that desk, I can't actually reach the lid.
So with the lid open, it goes up to 1.3 meters. So you aren't stacking these. Do you know what I mean? Like if you had these in a farm or if you had these in a workshop, these are going on a workbench, and you're not stacking these in a farm, right? It does have Ethernet on the back. It also comes in a little accessory box with a Wi-Fi adapter. A few people have asked me why so many printers come with Wi-Fi adapters rather than Wi-Fi being built in. This machine, I actually already have an answer for that. So basically, this machine is built and designed as an industrial machine. It has an industrial price tag. I'll point that out because this is $5,400 US. This is the most expensive machine we have had on the channel, except for the photocentric Opus that had just come out. So £5,400. This is a machine that is designed for prototyping, for advanced dentistry, for that kind of stuff. It is meant to be in an industrial setting, right? And that means that you want to be able to remove the Wi-Fi adapter, because the RF signals that a Wi-Fi can throw out, even if it's not connected, can mess with other industrial equipment. So you need to not just be able to not use Wi-Fi if you don't want to, you need to be able to physically disable it so that you don't have to worry about either the signal getting out, or if you're in an industrial setting, worrying about someone dialing into your machine and hacking the signal or anything else. So it does have a physical Ethernet port on the back as well. I'm absolutely not turning it around. So you're just going to have to imagine what an Ethernet port looks like and imagine it on the back, because you're just going to have to live with. You can see that it does have a very beautiful glow on the inside. It's got an internal light that turns on. That only turns on when the hood is open, and it is not a UV reactive light, so it won't impact your resins or anything else. It does use Chi2 Box as its slicer. There is a profile in both Pro and Basic. You don't get a Pro license with this when you buy it, which is insane to me, that you're buying a $5.5 grand machine and you don't get a free copy, like even a year of like Chi2 Box Pro. Mad. But it has got I'm here driving to get lunch, right? Okay. So it has got a beautiful 5.5-inch touchscreen here. So let me just.
And what is
see.
good about this, instead of having to go into the menu, there's a button just next to the screen to turn the heater on and off.
Yes. So let's just see if I can. There you go. So you can see the touchscreen there. A nice, colourful, responsive UI. So they've not skimped on that at all. And this button here, that is the button for the heater on or the heater off. That is also thermostatically controlled. I will caveat and say there is one slightly annoying thing. And the slightly annoying thing is my bugbear that we've talked about many, many times. And that is that the USB port is on the side. Now, again, you're not stacking these machines, so you could debate that it's not a big deal, but the USB port is just back here on the side. I really would have liked to have seen that USB port on the front. I don't think it would have been that hard to have made that happen. So that is my only bugbear with the overall design. Other than that, I love this. And bear in mind that you wouldn't even be using this if it was networked.
It's got a filter in the back, hasn't it?
Yeah. So it's carbon filtered. And as I say, it's got the heaters as well. It's got, for all that it matters, there's a 91 unit LED matrix light source. Very nice.
It's got two beefy linear rails behind there and all.
Yeah, so it's a T12 lead screw down the back, a single lead screw, and dual beefy linear rails. I don't know what they are because they're front. On the front is nice, but as they stick it on the side or even the back, I tend to use low profile USB sticks. Yeah, so absolutely you could do. So you could just use low profile USB. You could also use the Wi-Fi or use the Ethernet, right? Could absolutely just use that, and then you wouldn't need a USB stick at all. I haven't set up this on Wi-Fi or Ethernet yet, so it will be something that we try and see how it works. All of the profiles for all of their resins, as I said before, are already loaded into their into the slicer. There are a lot of different resins, but we have got their X110 or X100. We've got X110. So that should be one of their detail resins, but not one of their hyper detail resins.
So I am having this non-stick. Now, usually when we get a printer, we'll do a few tests and that, and it will stay there. Then we'll do the review of it. I'll take it home, print a load of stuff out or a big model with it, then bring the printer back and we show, big stuff is done. We can't do that with this because you can't lift it with one person.
No.
So this is going to have to stay here for the next month or so while we do all the videos on this printer. And then it's going to take both of us to go pick it up and go back to mine to get it in there because you cannot lift this on your own.
No. It's way, way, way too big. Again, bear in mind, tool for a job, right? This is not replacing your Anycubic photon, right? You are a person who at this point has something giant and you have an industrial need for it. Hey, Adrian, it's changed now. It's James's now. Don't try and steal it, Mike. I know. Clear about
he has not got a single piece of room.
I have not got a single inch of space to put this in. As it is, everything's going to have to be done pretty much on this desk. So, you mean neither of you can lift only 50 kilos? Not in that, no. I could lift it on a squat rack.
There's no handles on it.
So before I fill it up, let's take a look at what 5.5 grand's worth of accessories gets you. So you get your USB Type A Wi-Fi adapter. You get a really nice set of Allen keys. So I want to show you these.
These are better than the ones I have at work.
So these are the Allen key set. You unlock them from the side, and then they open up like a book of Allen keys. And you can close them, slide them down, and they stay locked. Look at that! All like brown anodized and everything.
I know
like,
where they're going.
Yeah.
In my tool bag.
We then have the obligatory scraper. This scraper is not particularly sharpened or thin. Got some spare screws. We've got the world's smallest funnel. We have a ScanDisk branded USB stick, so I like that. We have the plastic scraper. We have a massive spanner. I say a massive spanner, but like a solid steel spanner, which is actually for the feet, so that you can move it around. There we go. Carl joining us. Hello, Carl.
Good day.
So, non-stick, I have moved my Mega on my own. This is 20 kilos heavier than the Mega.
Yeah.
The Mega's 30 kilos. This is 58.
No flex plate.
35.
It looks like your table's leaning to the left.
The garage is leaning to the left. It's not the table.
I was going to say the garage is leaning. You get this
so
little.
it's the garage that's
you
leaning.
get this little. Yeah, you get this little leveler that you can put in, and you get a little microfiber cloth. Oh no, they're disposable latex gloves. Okay, cool.
Also,
they are actually a large
build
dose,
plate
but not
on
actually
this
fit a regular
is,
person.
the build plate on this is very different from anything we've had.
Yeah, so the build plate on this,
it's quite high, isn't it?
take this
380.
Yeah.
So the build plate on this is this is obviously, where are we? There we go. So this is, can Carl turn the light brightness down? The light is reflecting off the top of his head. Rick's making friends.
Tell you what. There you
He's
go. You
gonna
can
put his
just.
little hat on. Oh no, there
you
we go.
go.
Right.
I look like
So
some
you can
friggin'
see here-
15-year-old pervert.
This plate is solid aluminium.
And it is thick.
And it is thick. It's a heavy plate, but it is perforated in a way that I have never seen before. So that's going to be interesting. We do also have the vat in here. So the vat has some very beefy screws in the side
that are integral.
These screws don't come out. I'm not 100% sure how the screws got in, but I assume that there's some way that the handles screw in. But this way, you can never lose these. Now, I don't think I've ever actually lost the screws on mine, but
it has got a really nice
one time where I've reinstalled it and forgot to screw it down.
It has got a really nice build spout on it, like for when you're emptying it and all.
And there's a really nice.
I've lost a few screws on mine.
So this goes in and screws down. Whilst we're here, I may as well crack open a bottle of resin and pour that in.
So
that's
they
very
sent
unusual, but I can
sent us
see why.
14 bottles of resin.
Yeah, they sent us 14 bottles of resin. Yeah,
7 different types of resin, so 2 liters of each type.
So let's just
and some. So on, I know it's on Chitu Books Pro. Is it on the basic? The resin
well, Chitu Box Basic is what comes on the USB stick, so I would say yes.
So it already has all of their resins
pre-installed,
pre-programmed. Some of their resins are. Was it how many seconds was the longest one? Like 150 seconds.
One of their longest resins is it's 7.5 seconds a layer cure time, but the base burning layers are 163 seconds.
What resin's that with?
So that is with their ultra detail.
Yeah.
So what I'm assuming we would call
not the detail, not the super detail, but the ultra detail.
Like our 8K. Opening resin with no gloves, pouring resin with no gloves. Next is going to be licking it with no gloves. Probably fairly accurate. Oh, wasn't I, Anton? Nowhere near it. What are you talking about?
So yeah, it
I only
has
put
got,
gloves on when I.
it
The
has
amount
got
of-
Gloves on
little-
when I'm going to get near the resin.
The amount of resin that Mike paints himself with, he's immune to it now.
Hit.
So
Okay.
the vat has got little feet on the bottom of it, so the FEP doesn't touch anything, and that's what guides
James has got little feet because he couldn't reach.
I'm the tallest one out of all of you.
No.
Yeah, when I was standing there, I couldn't close the lid.
Right, so I have to say, I do really like the fact that you get an actual branded USB stick, because that's fairly rare these days. So I'm going to stick the obligatory frozen test on there, and we're doing that at a 0.05 layer height. So let's stick that onto the USB drive. There we go. Cool.
Yeah. Phil said that's what the box is for, to step on to shut it.
So USB stick goes in the side. We touch the nice touch screen. He says, there we go. USB stick. Frozen XP Finder. Print screen life test, yes. FEP film test, yes. UV light source test. Okay, fine. So it does like a hardware check before. I don't know how it.
So what's the
validates that.
lifespan of this screen then?
Requires 3.5 milliliters of resin. Make sure there's enough. There is, and then off it goes. Well, I mean, it's a mono screen, so I would say a normal amount.
20-odd thousand hours.
2,000 or 3,000 hours, isn't it normally?
Yeah.
I can't remember. So about 2,000 hours, yeah. I'm going to try and dig out the photo the ex took of me when I got resin in my eye. My face didn't look good. Both that before and after, and I got the before and after I got the resin in my eye. Yeah, I can imagine that would suck. So okay, so yeah, about 2,000 hours is the answer.
That's not too bad, then.
I'll be honest, guys. I've had resin in my ear. I've had it in my mouth. I've had it up my nose. I've managed to not get it in my eye, but I have spilt it. I've actually picked up a resin vat, and the FEP has pierced at the back, and it's literally just ripped itself. And I've poured a full vat of resin directly into my own lap, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It gets everywhere. It does burn. I'm lucky that I'm not yet allergic. The problem with resin is that the allergy builds over time. So even if you spill it on yourself once, you may not be allergic that time. But if it happens the next time, that could trigger a really severe allergic reaction. Most resins can give you pretty bad chemical burns, depending on who you are. Like it's not good. So,
but we don't learn.
We'll open my little bag of. Oh, these are medical. Look at these. So when it comes to me taking this off the build plate, I will be wearing my gloves. I do have my wash and cure station down on the floor down here.
After seeing Matt Farmer splash himself with resin.
Yeah, that was
12
bad.
months ago.
And that wasn't actually resin. So when Matt did it, Matt had his wash station.
Yeah.
It was literally dropped the wash bucket and it just smacked him in the face. So that was both IPA
and resin.
Terrible, but IPA filled with resin.
Yeah, it made me put one glove on seeing that.
Really bad. Really bad. I remember watching that live stream and being like, "Oh, all right, well, Matt might be blind now."
I've got to say, I always use gloves whenever I'm touching anything. Like,
hey, Jerry.
I always have gloves.
Yeah. So I mean, it's bad, and you should absolutely be careful. To say, I was just filling up the vat. I wasn't touching the resin, but I do take the point. I should have probably had my stuff on. So, in answer to your question earlier, Phil, the build volume on this is 277 by 156 by 380. I think that makes this a 12.3-inch screen. I'm happy to be corrected if that's wrong, but I think it's a 12.3-inch screen.
Yeah, I'm sure that was what it was. I was reading it.
It's not an 8K screen; it's a 6K screen. But again, we will see how it does. So it started printing now. Should be about a 15-minute print.
I've had no allergic reaction to resin yet. That's because you're too busy talking to your bumblebees.
So I've had some pretty bad reactions to ABS. If I'm printing ABS in a room that's not ventilated, like I get some brutal headaches.
I've heard Polymakers is meant to be really good now. It doesn't give off any fumes.
The problem is with what it's giving off, the box fumes that it's giving off, it's just, hey, we don't talk about that. Yeah, there's two things we don't talk about: Bruno and Akuma Mods getting all of his stuff, getting resin in his eye. It's like the carcinogenics that are in ABS. Even if they don't smell and they're not giving you a headache, you're still getting a pretty savage dose. So I would recommend that you print with something that's got an activated carbon filter. So I've got an X1 carbon that has an activated carbon filter in it, and I find that has meant that when I'm printing in ABS, I can print pretty comfortably without really any smell at all until I open it. So it's not too bad. And
so
generally,
I'm not particularly. I don't notice the smell of resin. Some people, it's really strong to some people. It's not to me. I'm a plumber, so my nose is pretty much destroyed anyway. Like if it's a faint smell, I'm not going to smell it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you've not smelled something until you smelled crystallized urine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Till you've cleaned out your urinals, then you know what smell is.
So Akuma, you're not wrong. Sorry, Akuma's just said P13 would suggest a 13-inch screen. It would, but it isn't. You're not wrong. It absolutely would suggest that it's a 13-inch screen.
So our friends at iWe Color mentioned yesterday they've got some PLA carbon fiber, some PETG carbon fiber, and some ABS with fiberglass coming out soon.
So that's cool. See, so the thing about PLA is that it's just so versatile for so many different applications, and especially if you're doing sort of normal models, it doesn't require any like special printing conditions.
Oh.
PETG as well to an extent, but it can be a bit funny with the bed surfaces that it goes on. Like PETG. For those out there who print in PETG regularly, they'll attest to this. If you print PETG on bare glass, it can chemically bond to the glass. So you have to use hairspray or something like that as a release agent.
You've got for the bamboo.
Yeah,
that's the maddest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's have
so
you got it?
You'll be able to pick it up.
I don't know if it'll pick up. So I got one of the new PEY beds off AliExpress for the bamboo, and it's like a fancy glittery effect on the thing. And Mike, show them how it came out.
Transfers the glitter.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to pick that up.
So yes, you can see it a bit.
We'll get some pictures of it and put it on the group, and we'll put it on TikTok. But it does look good.
It's a glittery base.
Yeah.
But if you take it outside, you can't see the glitter.
Yeah, it's good.
It's pretty weird that you can't see it under direct sunlight. But it is. But again, it's a glass finish.
Well, it's smoother than glass.
Yeah.
To be honest, non-stick. It's better than the glare of my head. That's why I'm sat in darkness.
Immediately getting criticised for that. Yeah.
But yeah, the ABS. I think with coming with them with the fiberglass should be quite interesting. They've only got it in natural color at the moment. They're working on colors for it, but they printed some. It looks really good. They printed it on the bamboo, and it printed really nice.
So the resins that the only time that I really bother,
I'll send you a picture of it. You can put it up on screen.
Yeah,
I've already got it. I took the picture.
True. Yeah, you did take it.
Iono sent me a huge bundle of return filaments. Totally ended up with 2-3 kilo rolls of black PLA. Now I want to work out what I can use it for. So I've used the Iono filament before. It's actually all right.
Yeah.
We used to use it quite a lot, didn't we?
It did for a while. It was a point where it was actually really cheap, and then Sunlu just started bringing out like basically £10 a kilo spools, and I just like all I really
but
use.
Sunlu prints every time. I've had Iono, like you say, it was quite cheap to begin with, but like silks,
or unless you find a deal on AliExpress for 1 kilogram for £5.
Yeah.
But to be honest, you know the Temu app. You can get some really good filament on there at the moment for the price. And iWe Color have got a store on there. I'll have to share it, but they've got loads of bamboo stuff on there as well in their store, like parts.
So as I say, we used to use a decent amount of Iono. I think my next project.
I presume that Facebook user is Martin.
Yeah, so I've not done a vehicle in ages. So I've got to finish Daredevil and Kingpin.
The last vehicle you did was the Terran Battle Cruiser, and that was nearly 5 years ago.
Yeah. It was a while.
Yeah,
so
but you've got some work on your Daredevil still. The
Daredevil model is big.
It's huge.
I showed a friend today.
The Daredevil model is it's pretty.
The torso, just the torso of Kingpin. He's bigger than a child.
I showed a friend today, and he was like, I hid the can, on the picture you sent with my thumb, and he was like, "Oh, that's really good," and took my thumb off, and he was like, "Holy shit!"
So for that one, I've been using Ciratec, and I have to say that Ciratec. So I've been using Sunlu resin for most of it, because most of it, believe it or not, is resin. But I've been using Ciratec for the glass, and I have to say, I have not found a better clear resin.
I've got an example.
Than Ciratec. So so we've got a video coming out about this soon, right? That windshield is 3D printed. It is printed in Ciratec. We had to. I want to be clear. It doesn't come out looking like that. That is after processing, right? Technology Outnet are now a reseller of Bamboo Lab printers, but they're a bit
I've heard they don't carry the warranties either.
No. So there's two issues with it, Rick. So yes, they do. But to be clear, Bamboo have warehouses in the UK to ship from. Technology Outlet do not run the warranty, and they don't stock any spare parts. So if you buy the printer from Bamboo and something breaks, you still have to go through the normal ticketing system. They are an authorized reseller. They are not like a distribution partner or whatever it is when they're not the UK representative of Bamboo. So you're still dealing with Bamboo's support system. You're still having spares shipped by Bamboo. They don't stock anything, and they don't cover the warranties. It's a bit like if you were to go and buy an Apple iPhone from Currys, you still have to go to Apple if something goes wrong with it. Currys won't do anything. They won't even give you a refund most of the time. They just say, "Oh yeah, everything's through Apple." So yes, they do. But to be honest, unless the printer you're trying to buy from Bamboo is just out of stock, there's really no point. Like you may as well just go and buy it from Bamboo.
Yeah.
Because you'll pay the same price, or you pay less actually.
Well,
you pay less, and Bamboo do
drop.
have machines that ship from the UK.
But they didn't drop the price of the P1P either. Technology Outlet.
What when Bamboo
dropped it a couple of weeks ago, they haven't dropped the price yet either.
Doesn't surprise me. Problem is they bought in the stock at a certain price.
Yeah. And now they're
So
stuck
they
with it.
can't just drop. They can't drop 100 quid off it because that's probably their entire margin.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yes, Rick, they are selling it now, but there's that. So basically, that windshield, we had to sand it from. We took it from 800 grit all the way up to about 2,000 grit. Then we clear coated it. Then we took a buffing compound and we buffed the whole thing, both sides. Then we clear coated it again. Then we did a 3,000 grit wet sand. And then we clear coated it a final time. And what we now have is a windshield. I mean, what we have now is as clear
incredible.
as I would expect you to be able to get a resin print. I don't think you can get one clearer than that.
And it looks good there, but when you actually see it on the car, it's a game changer. It really is a game changer. It just
the
makes
inside of this car is very detailed, which means you're actually going to be able to see it when all the doors are closed.
Yeah, and that window
absolutely
is perfect. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when you showed me it.
Just seeing how this is doing. %42 done. Does it have an
But getting
actual
back to resins that smell, recently we did the acidity video where we tested their resin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Strongest smelling resin I've smelt.
But you said it prints nice, didn't you?
Print's absolutely beautiful. It's really thin, really thin. It's like milk.
Yeah, I've got a bottle here of it to use.
But the smell is strong.
Yeah.
Like you open up the printer
and
bang, you smell it.
Yeah.
But is that because it's 1.2 litres, though? Because it's more than a 500-gram bottle?
Don't think so, because it smells whilst it's printing.
Right.
Yeah. But even when you're just pouring it out, you can smell it.
Unless that's, like you say, because it's quite thin, isn't it?
It could be. It could be. I mean, the one thing I will say is that you
don't get me wrong, it prints amazing.
Yeah.
It prints amazing.
Because of how thin it is, it means you can print it on an 8K printer and you can print it at a really low layer height. So you can go down to like 0.03s, 0.01s. Like you can take it really, hate to do a plug for another company again, but PCB Way can 3D print in resin. They have a crystal clear resin. Seen it on a few other YouTubes when they have when they've made custom console cases.
So
so their crystal clear resin. I've not heard of PCB Way, so I don't.
Photocentric, when they use their DLP printer with clear,
yes,
that comes out like clear.
Yeah. Well, Matt Farmer did it, didn't he? He got the resin from Australia, was it?
Yeah.
And he managed to get a ball clear, didn't he? A crystal clear ball done.
So to be clear, I can get with the
stained glass you've done on Kingpin.
Daredevil.
You have not.
So the stained glass is on Kingpin. That's all been done.
Clear coated it.
Yeah. So that's all been done in Siratech, and it didn't require any post processing. Once you hit that with a clear, it's fine. However, the reason it didn't need any clear coating was because it's stained glass, all the lead work is raised.
Yeah.
So all of the supports only touch the lead work, and I paint the lead work black anyway. So the reason why the glass is clear is because there's no support on it. With that windscreen, it sweeps back and curves round at the sides. So when we printed it, we had to have supports that were on the actual window itself. So there was a decent amount of work in sanding all of that down and getting that back to where it was clear. If you wash Siratech, clear coat it, and then you cure it, it stays pretty clear. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good.
You'd call it clear.
Yeah, you would say, you'd absolutely say it is clear. You'd absolutely say it was clear. You wouldn't say it was optically
Put it this way,
clear. It's not glass.
You've painted so far, which you've used ink on.
Yeah,
you can still see through it.
I'll tell you what. Let me go and grab the. Because I can take the stained glass off.
Them shards of glass.
Go to the forklift.
Yeah, they're really good, aren't they? Really clear.
That Ceratec resin, it's good.
Nice.
It's the only Ceratec resin I've used, but this clear stuff has been really good. We've got a video coming out on it soon where we've obviously that car has got a lot of windows.
Yeah.
Way more than I'm happy with. I've literally been painting it for 2 days. I've been doing it, and there's so much more to do. I spent 4 hours today just sanding the body, filling it, sanding, filling it, sanding.
You're gonna have to say
Right,
that. You're gonna have to have a
so-
body shot there now. Here we go. Look.
This is the stained glass window that I'm doing.
Make
So
yourself
if I
big,
bring
James.
this closer, this is without any clear coat on it yet. So you can see that it's slightly opaque. And if I hit that with a clear coat, which I haven't got in here, but if I was to hit that with a clear coat now, then you can see how much clearer this is. So this has had the clear coat on it once I've done the inks. So, like, I mean, to be clear, like this is
only a small part of the model as well. Like
this is probably one of the biggest parts.
Oh, it's not. It's not.
One of the tallest parts.
It's not.
The difficulty with this is this, right? It's that it's 3-dimensional glass. So like this is all smashed out at the back, which I have to say does look
It looks cool.
absolutely banging.
last week, you were going to put one, like you sliced one of the prints and it looked ridiculous. I was like, we were like, is it going to print? Like, because it was just off glass floating in midair.
Yeah.
And it actually came out perfect.
It did. Printed.
Yeah.
Absolutely it did. To be clear, that model is 200% scaled from where it should originally been, right?
Yeah, but it is a meter at normal height without being supersized by you.
No. Normal height is about 500. So when I've supersized it, by the time it's done, it will be just over a meter tall. And there's a lot of people on the group who have printed it, and almost none of them have even done it 100% size. Like most of them have done it like 75%, 50%. And theirs has come out really nice. Like I really like the way theirs came out. But there's so many details in the model that I just felt at a smaller scale they were lost. So
And
things
let's be honest, you're obsessed with doing everything at 200%. And every time you're doing it, you're like, I don't know where this is going to go. I've literally got no room to put this. And then the next model, you go, yeah, I'm doing it at 200%.
Yeah. And I've seen like the
you
fit.
do that as well. Like how big's the Ecto?
I didn't even want to do the Ecto. You made me do it.
That's not my problem. I can't be responsible for your bad choices.
Yeah, but I've seen the hand of that model and it's nearly as big as yours. I've seen the hips and the huge.
But to be fair,
the torso is huge. Like, huge.
I suggested putting that model behind the TV your wife hates you buying. Because she might as well just hate you all in one go.
Pretty mad about that.
So, do you know, medium-sized Mike, Kingpin is bigger than that.
No.
Yes, it is. That torso on Kingpin is bigger than that.
Yeah, but bear in mind the torso for Kingpin is all out of proportion.
Like a 5-year-old bod baby.
So like his torso's really big.
Well,
his legs are sort of quite short and dumpy. His hands are massive, but his head is actually really quite small.
Yeah, like a beanhead.
Because Kingpin is meant to be this big character with like massive hands. So like, let's not like make out like he's like 5-year-old. So not that big. Like he's not as big as I would actually say proportionally. I think my Wolverine is bigger than Kingpin is.
Kingpin is sitting down. If Kingpin was standing up, he's bigger than that.
No,
Wolverine.
Kingpin's laying, but he's sort of back. He's not sitting
don't
down.
forget you've got the window.
Yeah, the window's big.
And the massive base with all the gargoyles on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gargoyles are big.
Oh, and don't forget the Daredevil that's hanging off
about
the
the
top
gargoyles
as well.
Yeah, I haven't even painted Daredevil yet. I'm gonna have to do that this weekend. Yeah, Daredevil's pretty big. I'll not lie. That's big.
We're also interested to see how well it's gonna
stand
glue
up
on because of its size.
Yeah. We are going to have to move our. Yeah, we're going to have to shift about our shelves to be able to fit him on.
Well, first
He's
of all,
big.
we've got to
I'm not
shift about
saying
all
he's not big.
First
I'm
of all,
just
we've got to
saying
shift about
that,
all the
like, you know,
shelves.
some people are big.
First of all, we've got to shift about all the shelves to try and get that printer on it so that we can do stuff for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be tricky. That is going to be tricky.
No non-stick, I don't.
The problem with this is that it's because of how high. It's because of how high this this goes. So, like as I said before, with the lid all the way open, it's 1.3 meters tall. So if I just measure where we are here, right? Well, that's a problem. we do have an issue. I'll grant you with that.
Oh, there's no way we're going to be able to open the lid completely.
No, probably not. This is 96% done. Are we finally going to actually have one time where we set up a printer and it just works out the box? Like,
let's hope so.
Because it's never happened to
Probably
us
not as
on
much
this
as
channel,
they hope so with the price tag of this.
where we've printed it and it's just come off. Right.
Is it quite quiet though, James, printing? Because I can't normally. I'd hear...
Well, I'll be honest, it's not terrible. So there's two sort of fairly chunky fans on the back. So I don't know if you can hear. Like, there's the fans are going, and you are aware that they're going. I will say that once you put the heater on, it does get a little bit louder. So it's not quiet when the fans when the heater fans are on.
I think it was a good guess not to.
Just for the kids at home, wear your gloves.
Now you look professional.
Won't go that far.
It's got both gloves.
Right, well, it's finished. So.
Oh,
I love that light. Like, I just love the light. Well, I'm just going to let you know that there's a print on that build plate, okay? And I think we could just end the stream there.
That's
so,
it.
You can all just believe me that there's a print on it.
When we first see this printer, the hood was down, but the light was on. It had a print on the build plate, but no resin in the vat. So when we were looking at this earlier, we couldn't get the light to go on with the door shut. Turns out the light can't go on when the door's shut. We think what they did was mod theirs by taking the light sensor out, so that when it was on the display, it lit up all nice.
Yeah. But I like that it's got two hinges, piston hinges, so it's quite.
They're the gas
sturdy.
struts, and they have to be that big just to hold the lid up.
Yeah. Because it was dead when you opened it. It was dead smooth. Because on some, it's like jittery, isn't it? And it
no,
kicks away.
This, so there's no flex in the door.
No, it's
like
solid.
so the door. The door. This is perspex, not glass. Sorry, this is perspex. But like,
has it got a lip on the bottom? Is it to open
this is all steel, so it doesn't stop at any point. So you do have to open it at least up to here, because otherwise the gas struts will just let it go back down again. So let's.
Any of your other resin printers got this height on it? Have they, Mike? You know, like 380.
The Mega's got to be close.
I can't remember what's on the Frozen.
The Mega's got to be close.
Yeah.
I think the Mega's 400 actually.
I think it's 400.
Yeah. Non-stick, you should know this.
Just trying to get some of that excess resin off.
Mega 8K is 400 and is the gamma.
So the Mega 8K's got 40 mil on this.
Yeah. So a couple
but it's
of
worth noting as well. The Mega 8K is a large
going soon
to make room.
Well, Carl's having the mini Frozen Mini 8KS.
because there's
And
some
the High Tree Kieran
there's some big
will be going into a grave.
some big resin printers coming out. Non-stick, have you had any notification for the Galaxy one yet about shipping? Because
So you've got the new boy and all. You've got the Apex.
Bear with me 1 second because I've got some better scrapers.
that looks a beast.
Galaxy
On its
size,
own.
but quicker.
Yeah,
Laser.
looks nice. There's some really good printers coming out.
We are getting one of them as well.
Well, we've got a few printers lined up, haven't we? It's going to be an interesting summer holidays for everyone.
The Apex is shipping the end of this month.
Yeah, we've got a laser coming.
Yeah.
Got a
And
laser
I've got
coming.
to say, the Creality laser, the Falcon,
Yeah, doing nice.
first laser we've actually got to do everything it's supposed to do.
Yeah, we've got a
We've
few.
made some cool stuff with it.
Yeah, we've got a few FDM printers coming to the channel soon.
Yep.
Excited about them ones. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's pretty on the back.
Is that raised on the back?
Yeah,
We can't hear you.
it's not a bad thing though.
We can't hear anything you're saying. We can't hear anything you're saying.
I think he's doing low and hard, isn't he?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
So what I was saying,
Is that raised?
What I was trying to
Is on
say.
the back of that?
so what I was trying to say is yes, the ridges are raised in the back of it,
So you need to print one of ours.
and I would say that there really is no way that
could
you
just
are
flat print.
printing flat on that
No.
build plate.
So you'd have to
You're
put some
always
sort
going
of
to have
raft.
to. Now, to be fair, you would always have a raft anyway.
There's always a raft anyway, because whenever you use supports, it raises it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
So there would
Rick,
always be a raft, so that's not a big deal. But it's just to.
Rick's asking a question. He's thinking of getting a new resin printer. He can get a Photon
Yeah.
X for 110, a Photon X 6K for 140, or a Saturn for 189.
Used
My personal opinion, I would go for the Photon X.
I've not used
Exciting.
it.
I've got one there.
Photon Mono X right now still represents possibly the best value for money in resin printing right now.
And the 6K is problematic. Loads of issues with that.
Yeah, there have been a few. I know a few people who've had real issues where they've had their screen has died, and they do not have the spares.
We can't,
So, yeah,
Akuma could probably comment on the Saturn because he's had an Elegoo resin printer, but we potentially have an Elegoo resin coming soon, don't we? So we'll be able to comment a little bit more on them.
Ours is a bit different though. Ours isn't that. Ours isn't targeted at that. But I still think right now the Photon X really is about the best value for money printer that you can get on the market right now.
And every print I get off it just blows my mind.
Akuma Mod saying you tart. Am I to assume that is because I put gloves on, Akuma Mods? Are you mocking my PPE now?
Face.
Coming from the mad scientist when he's dressed up.
Coming from a man who nearly grew a third eye in the middle of his head.
That's not normal for an American saying.
True, that isn't. Matt's been hanging around with me too much. That's his problem.
He's been watching In Between Us.
Still love watching that.
Oh, it's hilarious.
You won't get away with it now. You won't get away with that now.
No, you couldn't. They talked about coming back, didn't they? And he said it'd be a bit wrong, wouldn't it, being like a 40-year-old man as a teenager?
Yeah. So the guy who plays,
Jay lives just around the corner from me.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Who's the one who lies all the time?
Jay. He lives just around the corner from me.
So Jay and his missus have a podcast,
And most of it is just the guy who plays Jay talking about how he's got piles. It's almost the entirety of the podcast.
Ooh.
They're just talking about, oh, we've got a new TV. It's slightly big. My piles are playing up. And it's like, what? He just throws it into every sentence. It's like, more like in Rick and Morty every time Rick burps.
Rick,
The company that sell the Anycubic washing cure.
Get the Cure Plus. It's much bigger and it's better.
Yeah.
The light angle. It's much better plus than the normal one.
Yeah, I got the Elegoo wash station, the bigger one, because my wash from Anycubic was too small, and then they released the bigger one. I've been listening to Whiskey Ginger, you know, on the podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
So let me just stick this in the cure very quickly, and we will take a look and see how this did. Just cure that for a couple of minutes.
Oh, you've actually got the cure in there.
Yeah.
Bending down and using a UV torch.
I was going to say, I just didn't want to be running backwards and forwards. That's all.
I thought you were just bending down using the UV torch.
I found
272, you can get a frozen mini 8K. Yeah, but the mini 8KS is much smaller non-stick. Like the Photon Mono X is an 8.9 inch screen. And
so I've got the mini 8KS here, and to be honest, since we did the review on it, I've never used it.
It's difficult because the problem is the size of stuff that we do. Yeah, it's small.
Yeah. Non-stick, I've got the same washing cure of you, the Elegoo one. It's decent. But I get the Mono X, Rick. It's fantastic. Loads of people have bought it. Like Andrew's got one, didn't he, recently? And I think he's getting another one.
Either that or the frozen one is really good because it comes in 2 parts. You don't have to swap it. But the curing station on the frozen has a dryer to dry all your IPA off before it starts curing.
Yeah. I'll be honest, at 8.9 inches, I don't think you are going to notice a huge difference between 4K and 6K. And I certainly don't think it's worth it, bearing in mind that the 6K, we know that the 6K has issues. There are multiple people who've documented that they've had problems with it, that it's not doing what it's supposed to do, that they have massive issues, it seems, in getting the screens. So if your screen breaks, which it will, because it's a wearable part, they do seem to be a little bit of a sod to try and get hold of. So personally, I wouldn't recommend getting the 6K. I don't think you're going to notice enough of a difference between 4K and 6K to warrant it. If it's 4K and 8K, that's different. You can see the difference between a 4K and 8K print. But
you're not going to tell
4K and 6K. I think you're splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, there's a reason why they've not made any more 6Ks.
Absolutely. I mean, to be clear, this is a 6K, but
but that's built to work day in, day out.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And there's a reason, like the M3 Max non-stick just said
12K and a 10-inch screen. Yeah, so the Mighty 8K is good, and Mike does like the Mighty 8K. I'd actually say, Mike, has become your real workhorse, isn't it? Because the Mega takes so much to fill up,
and the Mega takes a lot longer to print.
Oh, here we go. Here's trouble.
Oh, he's diving.
G'day, mate.
He's been watching Mary Poppins all day.
He's been on BBC America.
That's right.
So I'm just curing it now.
He's just off to Mexico to get some more coke.
That's right.
Right, so I will start out by apologising because this is white, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to see what it looks like. So on the back, you can see that build plate has got some absolutely savage ridges. And that's because of how that build plate is, right? So to be fair, you'd have exactly the same type of look if you were on the Mega 8K, right?
That came off fairly easy. The Mega 8K sometimes
so I'm
be a real pain to get off that.
But don't you have the issues?
So these are filler knives.
Yeah. But didn't you have this problem though, Matt, with some of your build plates with the holes that when you were printing flat, it was having divots in?
Let me see if I can zoom in.
Yes.
So Let's see if I can get this to focus. Hold on. There we go. That
Oh, yeah. Wow.
is good.
Yeah.
That is
Like,
crisp.
that is, see all the text. The holes aren't crushed. Like, I know it's really hard to get that into focus. I apologize. There we go. Right there. That is not bad. Let me just make the screen bigger. Hold on.
That's spot on, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again,
Bear in mind, this is using their resin on a profile they set up in Cheeto Box. But hold on. Come on. There we go. Like,
Looking good.
all the text is there. All the
Right.
sides are there.
The writing's
All the
legible.
border.
All the border. All the lines
right.
are individual. No, they're not all like all the ridges here. These are all separate and everything. Like, that is as bang on as I would expect a machine to be right out of the box without playing about with any settings or anything else. That was open it up, turn it on, pour resin in it, load up the profile, off you go. I will point out that's also £5,500. So challenging.
I would hope it prints right out of the box.
Like, you know, loads of printers print right out of the box, so it shouldn't be stunning that it does that, but it does print right out of the box. So for the amount that it does,
But we tend
I'd
to get the ones
absolutely
that don't.
expect it to do that. But we've got, because of all the resins we've got, including some of their elastic resin, we are going to do a pair of 3D printed. We're going to do a pair of 3D printed flip flops, and see how they come out, because I think that's mandatory. So we're going to have to try and figure those out. And if we've got enough resin left over, Matt, we'll do a pair for you and ship them over.
Sounds
Jesus
good.
creepers.
I'm going to see if we can do 3D printed Crocs. I don't think we can do 3D printed
Oh,
Crocs.
I'd wear that. I'd wear them.
But
I've got a pair on now.
I love my Crocs.
they're not 3D
So do I.
printed. I've got regular shoes because I'm a person. I'm not
I-
a toddler going out to play in the garden.
I was vivid. I would never get a pair of Crocs, and I
Same
got
as me.
a pair, and I fell in love with them. They're just convenient. They're light. Your feet don't sweat in them, and they're comfy.
Yeah, it's like stepping onto pillows.
And if you need to get to the toilet really quick, you can put the bits at the back on, and you can get there.
How
without getting over.
savage are your toilet breaks
That's
that you're
if
having
you're
to take your shoes off before you go?
No. Before he goes, he has to put them in the sports mode.
Put them in sports mode.
Mate,
Gives you extra traction.
Yeah,
that's alarming.
I keep meaning to 3D print all the spikes to go on the little holes, so I can have spiky ones.
Have you seen what you can put on the back of them?
Yeah, little exhausts.
Little bollocks.
Oh,
Excellent. Well, that's us demonetized then. Cool. That's fine, Carl. Cheers.
Very nice.
This wasn't going to go into a corporate video or anything. I'm glad we've covered that.
Whoops.
We'll just edit that bit out.
Yeah, that's good. Cheers. I could do that on a live stream. That's how live works. Excellent. Right. Anyway, so that machine is working, which I think is the first time we have ever taken a machine out of a box, put it on the desk, and it just worked. I don't think there's been another time.
We've had frozen tests come off on live streams before, but never that good. There always needs to be.
They've always
perfecting
required
with it.
some sort of tweaking.
Yeah.
They've never been out of the box, like pretty much as good as you would expect it to be done. Now, again, I'll caveat that and say that we are using the Magforms profile with the Magforms resin to produce those results. I don't know what those results would be if I took out this resin and instead I put in some Sunlu or some Ciratec or something like that. I mean, Matt, I was saying earlier, they've got a resin called RC900. The burn-in layers are 165 seconds.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like
with 7.5 second layer.
with 7.5 second layer times, but they are 165 second burn-in times.
I don't think that that's needed, to be honest. I would definitely test that out, because that is overly insane for any resin that I've ever seen.
All of their resins have got completely different times on them, haven't they?
Yeah, so it's not like it's a typo, because there are other ones as well. So
Right.
like their ABS resin, their ABS resin on a 0.05 is 65 burn-in with a 5.5 second exposure time on layers. I would expect that for an ABS.
So I generally run every single printer at 30 seconds burn-in. Now, the reason why I would guess they want to go to like the 65 and above is the fact that they just want it to work and make sure that it sticks to the bottom of the build plate. But on top of that, it could also be that the big issue that everybody has an issue with, like the perforated build plates, or like the ones like you're using one that's perforated. Maybe there's a reason behind that they over cure it so that it releases easier from that build plate and doesn't cause the resin to stay in there.
But then if we look at their crystal clear has an 8 second burn-in and a 6 second regular. Their elastic is 120 second burn-in and 11 seconds a layer.
Right, I could see that one. Elastic is very hard to print.
Yeah, their RC900, which is supposed to be their detail resin.
Ultra detail.
That's 165 second burn-in.
Yeah, that just seems
with
ridiculous.
A 7.5 second exposure time. So you're talking about over 2 minutes in burn-in time.
Well, just under 3 minutes.
And there's five burn-in layers.
Okay, so they go. That's about normal, because I'm usually at about 6.
So 5 burn-in layers, I would say, is about normal. And then with the X110, which is what we just printed with, that is 35 seconds bottom exposure, 3.8 on normal layers. So I would say that this X110 is probably about the same settings I would use for like Sunlu and things like that. I would expect this to be roughly the right profile for that. I wouldn't have expected it to have been much more than that. But if you're doing 2.5 minute burn-ins, like, that's some wear and tear on your screen.
It is.
The heat.
But you got to understand, like, these
15 minutes to do your first layers.
Yeah, these printers are not meant to be like consumer grade, where you can just go out and buy a screen. No, you're buying not only a printer, but you usually buy like a warranty with it to go alongside, and that is for the life of the printer usually.
So I will say that you can buy a warranty wrapper with them. There are people who ship them over here, and they've got forwarders and all that sort of stuff. They are a manufacturing targeted and industrially targeted. So one would assume that you would more than likely buy a service wrapper, right? That you would buy this machine, and then you would have an ongoing contract to provide peripherals and everything else. It comes with a FEP pre-installed. It comes with 2 extra FEPs. I don't know whether or not they're NFEPs. I do not think they're SCF. I think they're just MFEP probably. Yeah. And again, this is a machine that is supposed to, in theory, you just get it out the box, you add it to your print farm, and you increase your overarching workflow. You can network these machines. Because this is just slicing in Cheetu box, there are a number of open source farm softwares that you can use, along with custom firmware that you'll be able to, or custom farmware that you'll be able to create yourself as well, if that's something that as a company you wanted to invest in. This is not an alternative to a frozen Mega 8K, right? This is we're buying 5 or 10 of these, and we are buying a service wrapper, and we're buying into an ecosystem, and we're more than likely buying an awful lot of their resin, and you are just out of the box, off you go, and you need the volume and the workflow. And these are machines that are designed to be earning money for you. They are not designed for making Bane masks and, and doing Warhammer 40k and all that jazz.
What price is their resin though, James? Because I wasn't here at the beginning, so I don't know.
Not too bad.
It's not savage. It's £28 a litre.
28 to 32, I think.
Yeah, 28 to 32 pound a litre, and that's for some of the specialist resins as well. Now, to be clear, a litre of Ceratec Crystal Clear is like £40.
Yeah.
So if they're doing 30 quid for their Crystal Clear, they are not gouging you on prices. They are not gouging those prices. And again, it'll do other resins. You don't have to use theirs. They're just the profiles that it comes with. You can just use other resins. So, you're not locked into an ecosystem. It's not like buying a Formlabs, for example, where you're buying their machine and, like it or not, you're using their resin, and that's it. So anyway, I'm conscious that we've been on for just over an hour. We've now got the first print off of it, which I think we can agree has come out really, really nicely. So me and Mike are now going to probably have some sort of hernia trying to get this off the desk into somewhere more sustainable. But we're going to carry on doing some prints with this. Check out the channel.
We're going to do the Wicked Iron Man
unboxing video and a few other things. What's that, Mike?
We're going to do the Wicked Iron Man.
Oh,
yes, we're going to do the Iron Man from Wicked 3D.
The Iron Man and Tony Stark.
Mike's going to be doing that.
Rick, I would say, again, when it comes to resin, you need to dial it in yourself, on your individual printers. So if you're going to buy, say, Sunlu resin, you would probably have to do what James has done there. It's just done that test, but you need to adjust it for yourself.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why the resin wouldn't work on other printer brands. I mean, again, bear in mind, this resin, if you can find it for sale, because it's not for sale in a lot of places.
Because we only found one place that sells this printer.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places that sell it. You can buy it direct from Magforms, but again, realistically, you're supposed to buy in bulk, more than likely. You're supposed to buy multiple bottles. They're not looking to sell.
When you go on the Magforms website, none of the printers have prices. It's all price on application.
Yeah. So to be clear, Rick, I, with those burn-in times, I don't think you would need the same burn-in times if you had a flat build plate or an etched build plate. And I challenge that you probably don't need those burn-in times, period. Like, that is fairly excessive for any resin that I've seen. I mean, Matt,
well,
like
you'd be able to run a test.
Any resin that needs 2.5 minutes in burn-in time. Right?
You could run a little test though, couldn't you, on one of the other resin printers with that resin?
Yeah, we can stick it in one of the others and see what it does. Like,
show an example.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us, guys. If you have $5.5 just floating about not doing anything and you fancy something that looks really cool, then check out the link in the video description.
Well, Unsurprisingly, we were both going to go and buy one.
Yeah, you should go and buy one or two. Like, if you get one, it's going to need a friend. And if you need a friend, then you need the set. So that's like, you need like 3. So just tell them that James sent you and that Honey Badger sent you. I want to be clear, it'll make absolutely no difference at all. They won't give you any discount or any price, but nice to be mentioned. It's nice that people talk about us sometimes. So anyway, look, thank you very much for joining us. We will catch you on the next video, and keep an eye on the channel because we'll have loads coming on this. But catch you on the next one, guys. Cheers.
See you later. Bye.